Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Samba Kingsley John, the CEO of African Youth Partnership, and I just want to share about African Youth Partnership. Being a journalist and being a poet, how do I able to channel this kind of message to my own fellow brothers in Africa and those in the diaspora to know what is going on in Africa? How do I change this kind of narrative? So I begin to go into the journalistic way where I can channel this through my media piece. Then through that, I think that through my poetry, I'll be able to put pieces of my poetry through that. And I realized that all these things, I think is not enough. So what can I do? So I decided to register an NGO able to create the kind of society we want. Through all the journey of my poetry, the journalism, I realized most of the things that most of the youth of Africans have been talking about each day. That Africa problem is not about the resources. Africa problem is not about the environment. But the number one key that I think is very familiar from all the comments that I've been reading so far is about leadership. And I think that is true. I think leadership has been the biggest problem we have in Africa. So I decided that what can I do as a young man in Africa? What can I do to change this kind of narrative? Through the poetry, that is okay. Through the media, that is okay. But is that enough? I said, no. If that be the case, what do I do? I think my own way. That's why African Youth Partnership, I've created it as an NGO. And this an NGO, our mission, one, is for humanitarian. Two, and advocacy. So humanitarian and advocacy. That is just the mission of African Youth Partnership. We keep on talking about leadership. But let's ask ourselves, in the society that we are living currently in Africa, do we have a summit or do we have some time that schools can organize an activity where they'll be talking about leadership? How many times have you been such thing has happened in our society? How many times has such thing happened in our countries? And how many times has such thing happened in our continent of Africa? How many times? So I think at these world problems, we know this is the problem. How do we solve it? Is by creating leaders. So the advocacy level, we be able to educate a lot about what is going on. I realize that business is not even a subject in many schools. Nowadays, world that we are living in, we are living in the world of business. If we don't know how to use this, we are living in the world of business, in the world of agriculture, in the world of creativity. How do I solve this as a young man? When I'm teaching, I do infuse such things to my students. But I think this is not enough. So through the advocacy, you'll be able to educate the youths. Because they are the leaders, even though you believe it or not. They are not future leaders, they are the leaders. Let's stop telling our children that they are the future leaders. Whatever you put here, it manifests. What I'm trying to say is that we should stop telling our children that they are the future leaders. We should start telling them they are leaders. There are difference between telling somebody he's a future leader and there are different telling a person that he's a leader. If you tell a child you are a leader, what do you think your child will ask you? Your child will begin asking you, Daddy, you say I'm a leader. What are some of the qualities of a good leader? How can I do to become a good leader? The person begins to ask questions. But the moment you tell a person that you are not a leader now, but you are a future leader, then I have to be jubilating, waiting for that day of the future. We are always living in the future. Please, we are always living in the future. Our future will see us tomorrow. So let's make today beautiful. As I can put it. We are always living in the future. Today was yesterday's future, right? Then tomorrow will be today's future. So my dear brothers and sisters, my kings and queens in the diaspora, that's why as a young man in Africa, I decided to create non-governmental organization Through this advocacy, those who are in need, we can help them to grow. We grow by lifting each other. So I think that as a young man doing this with some of my brothers, I cannot do it alone. I can do my part, but I think that when many ants come together, they can raise the elephant. What I mean is, when hands come together, we can champion that kind of change we want. How do we change the narrative? That's why I love Wendy Meyer. He has been telling African stories. How do we change the bad narrative of Africa? Through this advocacy. There are so many thoughts, so many things our kids know that is never true about Africa. How do we champion this? How do we change this narrative? It's through this advocacy. So African Youth Partnership is a non-governmental organization which is the main aim is humanitarian and advocacy. My dear kings and queens, we are not a political party. We are not affiliated to any political party. But we are here to help our own people to grow. It's located in Ghana, in the northern part of Ghana, in a town called Savelugu. Yes, it's not far from Tamale, the capital city of northern region. It's almost 15 or 20 minutes. My dear brothers and sisters, we have to make this happen. So through this advocacy, we can educate our children on business, on agriculture, on our African stories. We can do that. As a teacher, I came across a lot. But I think that when we all come together, we can make that change that we all want. We have been complaining for so many years. Do they listen to us? My problem right now is the youth of Africa. My hope right now as a young man or as the youth of Africa, I think is the youth of Africa. So if the youth of Africa disappoints me, that means that I have no hope. I must be very frank with you. So the only hope I have right now is the hope of the youth of the continent. You are my hope. You are my hope. If you disappoint me, if we don't let us to support each other by coming together, making policies, coming together to make sure that things work for us, how will it be? So African Youth Partnership, our mission is not just to establish here in Ghana, but we will get our branches so many African countries as time goes on. But we have to get the foundation first. So the foundation has been laid. My dear brothers and sisters, let's join hands together to create the Africa that we all want and desire. Those in the diaspora, you are mostly welcome. Let's do business. Let's help our own people. Let's change the narrative. As time goes on, if everything has been put in place, we'll have a summit in Ghana. You'll come and share your story with us. You'll come and tell us what is going on. You'll come and let's also learn from you. My dear brothers, my dear kings, thank you so much. If anything, you can WhatsApp me on 0541 0541 439997. Those in Ghana, 0541 439997. And you can also WhatsApp me those outside Ghana +233 541 439997 +233 541 439997. And before I go, I really thank my team. I really thank you so much for you always been there 24/7. Your sacrifice, I can't thank you enough. I might be very frank, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for your wonderful work. I can't really mention names or whatever contributed positive impact, whatever share of our page, whoever preach the message of African Youth Partnership to our own brothers, whatever you share the message to. You are so blessed. Thank you so much. You are also part of the family. Not necessarily those who are. There are some people who are supporting us, but we don't even see them. Those who share, those who are on the page, you are the family. You want the betterment, that's why you're still on the page. There are so many pages that we could have go and join them, but you are part of us. Family, let's make this happen. And I'm sure that one day we all meet, then we'll share stories, we'll talk, we share about African moment, we share about stories to inspire our struggle, to inspire the coming generation. I think it's possible. Africa will rise again. And don't forget that race is growth. Thank you so much. Thank you, family. We shall meet again. My name is Samba Kingsley John. Let's make it happen.